Alicia.
Damn, I thought it was going to be just 10 people left. Thank you for staying. Oh, it's so great to see everybody here. And guess what? Let's give an applause for Try Swift NYC. They did an amazing job. So y'all ready? The music ain't coming on? Come on, babe.
All right, you need some help with that? Yeah, upstairs. Can you get ready to play that thing?
All right, this is where we have the, okay. Put it up, put it up. Do you have there? Yeah, all right, let's go, let's go.
Hey, by the way, it takes a lot of people, including the crew, who have actually, if you don't notice them, that means they're doing their job. This is Rome from the New World Stages. And Rome, you know, helps off-Broadway shows like Jersey Boys and Avenue Q, and he's been making us and our experience great. So thanks to Rome, and thanks in the lights to Marcel, and to Ben. It's been a long day. And to everyone who's helped out. Thanks to them as well.
Yay!
So let's do this.
I want to say, you know, if we're just getting all mushy. Do we just get mushier and mushier until something finally starts working? I'm not comfortable with
I want to thank my mom.
Yeah, you're gonna, I mean, Chris's mom, like, gave us Chris. Oh, good, we can leave the stage.
Y'all ready? Come on, y'all. Y'all gotta join me now. We're about to party. It's over. So I'm closing this show, and we're gonna enjoy each other. Come on. So, I am here to inspire, empower, and motivate you to give back to the community. So, how did I get started in coding? At the age of 17, so I'm telling you how old I am, I put my first hand on an IBM punch card machine.
And it just changed my life. I was like, that's what I wanted to do. Now, my mother had other plans for me. And I'm originally from New York, born and raised here, and my mother wanted me to go to New York School of Design because I could design clothes, and I was a giant. I was so tall, and I had to make my clothes. And so once I did that, I was like, oh my God, this is what I want to do. And so husband, I got married, got pregnant, got married. My husband joined the military. Over time, while my husband was in the military, we got stationed in Virginia. And so I got tired of doing retail, so I decided to take a couple of courses on the military base, which was MS-DOS and DBase. And with no college degree, put it on my resume, and went down to every bank in Richmond, Virginia, and put my resume in. Got a job at a local bank as a database programmer, which all I did was punch in a bunch of code, print out some reports, distribute the reports, and I made more than the women who were customer service rep down the hall, with college degree. And I think that's when I realized that I loved that job. Oh my God, I loved it. And my husband said, hey, we are going back to Germany, and I was mad as hell. So while there, I worked with the military as a help desk support. WordPerfect, supporting the military soldiers. But they wouldn't give me a permanent job because they wanted to hire just military people. So my job, gradually, I had to transition out of that. Still loved computers while I was there. I would buy their military old computers with the old floppy drive and basically take it broken one, fix it, add the other piece of this one. And in my house, with my 3 kids, I had 3 computers. And my kids didn't quite understand, and I think my husband didn't understand how infatuated, how crazy I was with this. So I'm doing all this computer stuff. We decided that we were gonna move out, my husband wanted to leave the military, and we decided to move to Georgia. And while I was in Georgia, I did a lot of help desk support. I was a little small business helping other people with their computer problems, installing hardware, installing their new hardware, software, teaching them about different kind of software. And I truly enjoyed doing that. Got a job working for a company doing help desk support. And while I was doing that, working there, I got into doing Git, GIF, which is like little JPEGs. So the challenge was that we worked for this one particular pharmaceutical company in each section. And so back then it was Pharmacia, I think it was. Yes, Pharmacia. And so Pharmacia was, I think they had a penguin as their so-called slogan. So what I did is I got an iceberg and put a penguin on it and had the penguin dancing. So that was the thing we put on their actual website so they can go, and they loved it. And I got more and more intrigued with coding. So I taught myself HTML, created a website called African American Literary Forum. Yes, it's a long word. But what it was for is me finding books for my girls to read that could relate to them. And guess where I had to go search for the books? Amazon. And Amazon search was the worst. I had to do so much digging to find the books. So what I did was find the books and put it actually on my website. It got bigger than me because people found my website. Big-time authors found my website, Black authors, and they asked me to put their book on my website. And in return, I got free books. And I got like maybe 2 walls of free books. And so I was like, I asked my kids, I said, yo, Grandma's getting all this, hype on from this website. Can you help me? And they all said no. So I couldn't do the website no more because I wasn't getting paid. It was fun doing it, but I couldn't do it no more. And so from there, I learned SQL, and that didn't go nowhere. And so I was like, okay, so I got fired from my job. I got a job working for an environmental company. They used me for everything computer that you could think of because they didn't have nobody to help them with, so they had outsourced support desks. And so anything in the office, I basically did, and don't tell nobody, but I also did some illegal shit for them too. They were an environmental company. So from there, in 2011, wrong way. In 2011, I was getting my second generation Apple iPad. And so this 16-year-old boy was in front of me. And you know how it is when it's Apple. We are all excited. I got Apple. I want Apple. And so this 16-year-old boy was in front of me. And I was like, who gave you money to buy an iPad? And he said, well, I own my own business. I created an app. I was like, hot damn. I was like, so, I said, all right, that's cool. I said, so you went to Harvard, Stanford? And he said, no, I learned it off of YouTube. I talked to my husband, was like, I want to do that. So about 2012, my husband's like, so what you doing? I'm like, what do you mean what I'm doing? Go find a school so you could learn, do something that you do your dream job. I was like, okay. So I'm doing all my research. I contacted Big Nerve Ranch. I was like, hey, I know you got the 2-week program. It's a crash course. Being that I live in Atlanta, can I not pay for the hotel? They said no. So I was like, well, that's out of the question. So I reached out to the meetup group, as a group called Atlanta iOS Developers Group, and I asked, hey, listen, I'm looking for a tutor to help me learn to code. And so two people reached out to me, and one person said he would help me. He had more time to help me, and so he tried to help me as best as he can. It worked, but it didn't work because I was expecting somebody to show me after when I find errors, because I was using Big Nerve Ranch book. And so doing the Big Nerve Ranch book wasn't as easy as I thought because every time I'm doing it, I kept finding it wasn't working. So I kept deleting it in Xcode and redoing it again. And so that was just frustrating. And I was looking for a tutor to point out what was wrong, to help me fix the problem. And that wasn't working. So in 2013, a company called BitFountain put on the meetup group that they have a boot camp. And the boot camp, you wouldn't believe how much the boot camp was. $125. And I jumped on it. But I'm glad I did, because if it was now, I wouldn't even bother, because it was just they were too expensive now. And so I actually did the boot camp. Once I finished the boot camp, the tutor that was helping me suggested that Alicia, you should think about doing a domestic violence app. And so I was very emotional about it because my girlfriend died, was a victim of domestic violence and died. My mother was also a victim of domestic violence. I'm a child of domestic violence. My daughters. A lot of people that's connected up to me were victims. And so I thought that, if anything, this would be great to do for victims. He had another idea, and for me, I just ran with it. And so in 2014, I started building the app. While I was building the app, I found Women of Code. And there's several of my sisters out there who's part of Women of Code Atlanta. And at that time, I was having problems building the app. The app was finished. March, the app was finished. It was done. I learned how to create an app based on being a victim and being an abuser. So the app had to be as much information as possible. But in the meantime, every time I tried to submit the app to Apple, they kept rejecting it. And I was crying. At this point, I was furious. I was upset. And so went to my first meetup group at Women of Code Atlanta. I met Stephanie Brown. And Stephanie Brown is not a coder. And she was like, Alicia, we can go into the Apple forum and see if anybody else had a problem to fix it. Now, I never thought about going to the Apple forum because I already had paid for my certificate, the certificate and everything. And we went to Starbucks, we went through it, we found the issue. So I had to run back home because it was a size issue. So back then, I was using the bigger screen in the app, in Xcode, when I supposed to have made it smaller to fit the iPhone, because the phones were smaller then. So went back home, changed everything, the fonts, everything. Made it to fit everything, and so did that, submitted it, May 2nd, Apple approved my damn app. I'm never gonna forget that damn day. And so doing that, I became a huge member of Women of Code because of what she done to help me. I felt that I can do more by giving back. I really didn't push the app until the whole incident with the NFL player Rice did something in 2014, and my family just went crazy, told me I needed to submit this, put the app out there. So I started to go make my rounds, talking about the app. Rebranded myself as a woman in technology that created an app for domestic violence. And so once I did that, Women of Code came to me and asked me, do I want to go to WWDC15? I said, hell yeah, nobody gonna say no to that. And she said, it's a scholarship, and if you eligible, you'll get it for free. And that includes airfare, hotel, and the ticket to the whole event. I'm like, hell yeah, yeah, definitely. So what happened was I got the ticket. And my husband was jumping up and down. He didn't get the ticket. I got the ticket. And he still got to go, and he still got to show up at some of the events. So while I was there, when I was heading there, I created, well, you can see me up there, I did a T-shirt that says, ask me about the Purple Pocketbook, which was my app. And then on the back, I said, thank you, WWDC, Women of Code, for getting me a scholarship to the WWDC15. I took a picture of it, as you see. I sent it to everybody, Apple, my girlfriend, Women of Code, everybody. When I got to Apple, to the scholarship event, they were looking for me and wanted to do a picture of me for the keynote for 2015. Oh, I didn't put it in there? I think I did put it. But when they did, I just automatically got that exposure. So this is the app. This is my PEVO app. The first one, the Purple Pocketbook, is the first original part of the app. I had to change the name because it was infringing on another company's name. So that's where PEVO come along. And as you can see, everything that's needed for a woman to search. Immigration, that was when Obama was president, and women who were in any kind of other country got an asylum if they were in an abusive relationship and wanted to get out. Staying safe was very important because women have to find a way to get out of this situation, and they have to be strategic about it. So that means that they can't just up and leave. That can never happen. And if you don't understand why they can't, it's much deeper than what you think. It's not because she can't. It's because there's a chance that she can die. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people be quick to say, well, you need to get the hell out of there. No, that's easy said than done. And so everything I've done is specifically for how I've seen it. So this is the statistics for domestic violence. And you got to understand, these are some real numbers. And a lot of people don't see it like this, but it's very, very important that they see it. And yes, men are victims too. They just don't acknowledge it as women, but they are. And this is the one I was talking about. So Apple acknowledged me 2015, and as you can see, I'm the only black woman. And they said my name. So it was exciting when that happened. So when that happened, I was like really excited. When I walked in, everybody said, that's her. And so I got pictures. I'm friends with a person in Korea. And I'm like really excited. He had a baby, and he speaks his other language, and I'm like translating it and stuff like that. And so when that happened, the following year, this year, 2015, I became director of Women of Code. And then the following year, in 2016, Apple had hired a documentary company to do a video. And so they reach out to me, and they asked me, man, they asked me for everything, even my drawers. I'm like, they wanted my name, my children's name, my mother's name, my pictures, my family pictures. Then they, Then they Skype me. Then they send a representative out to talk to me. And at that time, I was like, okay, they're not going to even consider me for it. And so when I was at Google I/O waiting for the keynote. They called me up and said they're coming to Atlanta for Memorial Weekend. And it's like, well, you need to invite your friends and, and have a little barbecue. I said, first of all, ain't nobody going to be in Atlanta on Memorial Day weekend. School closed, and, and they send their kids out of town. So they're not going to be there. So they didn't quite understand that, because she was saying, well, in San Francisco, kids are still in school. Atlanta kids get out of school early. And so when that happened, then this happened.
Hello, world.
Now pay attention, because I'm about to call somebody out.
This is the first computer that I coded on.
In the beginning, my biggest challenge was not having access to a computer.
The first line of code I wrote was a bouncing ball. It would bounce around the screen, hit the edges, and then come back again.
I think the first one was like a to-do list. It was a to-do list.
I remember the first time I did it when it worked, and it was like magical.
I can do anything with code. Anything I can think about, I can do it. In Beirut, we experience power outages every day. So let me see if I can just do a simple algorithm that can provide the electricity cutoff time.
It shouldn't cost life to give life. What if we compress all these health guidelines into small movies?
I am one person that saw a problem and created a solution to stop or assist a woman in domestic violence.
What we wanted, what we needed, didn't exist. So at some point, you just say, okay, well, let's do it ourselves.
Let's make an app.
Well, when I first start an app, I have to have a plan.
We start with that little glimmer, that seed of a new, fresh idea.
There's this fear of code, like it's so hard or it's inaccessible, but actually it's not.
Someone who doesn't even know code at all, if they really studied some simple Swift code, they would probably be able to understand it.
Anything's possible, and it all comes from that first step.
Launching the app was a big moment, actually.
I told everyone about it. I'm like, download my app, it's on the App Store.
I was dancing. I called all my girlfriends that I cried to.
It's such a crazy feeling because it's so many emotions, so many wishes, so many dreams.
I always tell my students, do you have Beirut electricity? My son made it. He built it. And because, is he single?
By the end of 2016, 1 million women will have a safe birth due to the Safe Delivery app.
If people come together in public spaces, it creates a kind of happiness, and it creates a kind of like healing effect for the soul.
Don't touch my code! Dear Kira, young people like you are tomorrow's leaders. You inspire me and give me tremendous hope for the future. Michelle and I wish you all the best. Sincerely, Barack Obama.
These tools are something that we desperately need when trying to change the world.
I think the more people who can learn to code, learn to build apps, the more problems can be solved.
I feel like I'm creating stuff that can actually change the way people live, which is super awesome.
I want to be this amazing coder, this off-the-chain senior developer where everybody comes to me and it's like, can you fix this? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, and I go in there, I'll just type up the code and damn. And like, wow, you can do this. Yay!
So I'm going to tell you a little thing about this. They had to practice through that whole keynote in 2016, and to that they laughed. So when I count to the key, remember me. Let's a talk at O'Reilly. This happened. My name is Alicia Vicky Carr, and I am 54 years old. I have 3 grown children, and then I have 8 grandbabies. And me and my husband been married 36 years. My granddaughter, she turns 13 this year. Daya didn't know what I do. So there was one day she just happened to say, "Grandma, you know nothing about tech." And I was like, "Excuse me? Did you say I don't know nothing about tech? Google grandma name. Google grandma name, and when you finish Google grandma name, call me back." About 2 hours later, she called me back and said, "Grandma, I'm sorry, I didn't know that you knew all this stuff." I was getting my 2nd generation iPad, met this 16-year-old boy. He said, "I learned how to create an app off of YouTube," and I turned to my husband and said, "That's what I wanted to do." I took the Objective-C course, learned in 90 days, and that's when the mentor told me, you know, maybe you should consider doing a domestic violence app. I started crying because my daughters, my mother, my aunts, all were victims of domestic violence. I mean, I would tell any woman of color, just put your hands on something that is in technology. I'm telling my grandkids, you can do anything you want, so be creative and do something that you enjoy. Grandma's doing something that she enjoyed in her life, because I want them to have that opportunity to say, you do everything you want to do. This is what I would love to see an engineer look like if a woman, fine as hell, dressed to look like she's there to impress and not be discriminated against. I am Alicia Carr. I am a grandmother, a mentor, a nerd, an activist. I am a developer.
Okay.
That is like one of my favorite videos. And so I got so many little clips that everybody has done for me, because they like, you're just an amazing person. I'm like, whatever. Because there's things that I don't believe in myself. And that's, as a woman, all I'm trying to do is just put out a message, you know, because I'm very passionate about what I do. I think that women should be, it's important for women to code and be a part of it. Okay, can we hear? No? This one, okay. So that's why I give back to Women of Code. I have been director of Women of Code. I did it for about 2 years. And so now I'm on a whole new mission, because I still touch a lot of women, because they look at me and it's like, if you could do it, I can do it. But now I'm not only doing it for women, I'm have men come up to me. I had young men come up to me, young girls come up to me. And so I still got people contacting me not only with domestic violence, but with coding. So being a woman of color at the age of 54 is, I'm a unicorn, I'm different. And there's not too many of me around. And for me to, I taught myself how to code, not thinking that I was gonna make a change in the community. So right now, my next goal is to make PEVO national. I had too many calls. I have calls from people from all over the world, even here in my own country, United States. And the first thing I tell them, I have to make it national before I go anyplace else. And so PEVO is going to be that thing that's going to change the way people think about domestic violence. As a social entrepreneur, I don't never think that I'm a social entrepreneur. I just feel that I got this message to spread, and I want everybody to find, I felt that as coders, you're so talented that you can help so many people who have something out there that want to make a change in the world. You know, it's just not me. And, you know, for me doing domestic violence, it comes and goes. You know, it's hot one day and tomorrow is as cold as ice. You know, but I can't let that you know, be a part of me not stopping doing what I want to do to make this app national. Being an advocate, an activist, I will tell you right now, I will go hard on it. But if you tell, you know, how you ask me if you're a strong woman, I won't say it that way. I'll just say I'm a woman. And a lot of people will see me as something totally different. And I respect that, but I'm not that kind of person to like brag about myself. I just can't do it. My husband get all over my case about it. He's like, you go out there, you do this message, people know you from everywhere. No, they don't know me. Oh, hell yeah, they know you. That's why I say I realize I inspire a lot of people. I have men, oh my God, I have men from all over who wants to do things for me. I'm gonna be careful how I said that. My husband, my children, my grandchildren, my best friend are my best supporters. And I mean, there's people that just, you know, reach out to me and they say they love what I do, and I'm just so glad to have that support. And so I'm a talented person. So I created this little thing called Tech Girls. It's an iMessaging sticker on iTunes. And so what it is a bunch of girls from all nationalities speaking code. And it become such a very little hot thing that I just spread the word about. So this is something that I thought was so cute and relate to a lot of women and a lot of girls. And so I got like Swift, Java, JavaScript, Ruby for Rails, Python, any kind of code these girls could talk, I put it on there and they talk it in the code. And this is what I figure out about myself. I could do damn code, any code, if I put my mind to it. I really do. Because I sat there and tried to figure out how do I write Ruby. I sat up there and figured out how to write Ruby, how to write Python, how to write Java on just a cheat sheet. So I know that I have the brains to be talented at code. Don't ask me how to spell cat. I can't. Can't spell nothing. So if you want to follow me, this is how you can follow me. Also, I am building, I open source my Purple Evolution PEVO app so that I can get people to help me build it and make it better. So if you're interested and want to be a part of me building that little app into a national app, please go ahead and hit me up on GitHub. Also, I'm working on a conference for girls in Atlanta. It's going to be Emerging Technology Coding Boot Camp. It's for 100 girls, and we're going to teach them code from web to Android to iOS. It's just going to be a weekend, and I think this would be awesome to get the girls started in something. It's not enough. There's organization out there, but there's not enough of them. So I want to thank you, and I want you to see, there my boy. So let me tell you a quick story about Mr. Tim Cook. I'm at WWDC15. And I was like, man, I'm afraid to go to him. He don't know who I am. Oh, my God. I was like, oh, my God. So I was like, fuck it. So I ran up to him and said, hey, Tim. He said, hey, Alicia. I said, you know who I am? He said, yes. I said, can I get a picture? And that's how it came out. Anything else? I'm finished? Yes, I'm done.
Wow. You know, Alicia, I'm going to tell you a secret.
Huh?
I'm going to tell you a secret.
What's that?
I'm kind of a cynic, you know? Like, I hide it very well. I'm sure you will think I'm shockingly optimistic. But, I mean, I'm just British, right? But, you know, like, I feel like we work in this wildly dysfunctional industry that has, like, materially contributed to, like, what I can only interpret as the world ending. And sometimes, you know, I feel a little despondent about that. And, you know, and then I watch women like you kind of doing the things that you're doing and making a huge difference to everyone around you. And I'm like, wow. There is, like, a great potential for us to make meaning here and for us to make meaning here together. And, like, thank you for coming. And thank you for sharing your story on stage.
Thank you. Thank you.
Love you guys.